I'm going to show you the fastest and most effective way to attract any woman, and it involves making her want to flirt with you and interact with you in a sexual way rather than a friendly way. Whether it's a woman you've known for a while or some girl that you've just met, I want you to use these 3 super easy but highly effective strategies on her, which I'm going to reveal in this video, and notice how she changes the way she acts around you and how she treats you. You'll instantly move from boring platonic talk to sexually charged conversation that drives attraction. If you watch the whole video, you'll even get a bunch of example lines that you can start with or even copy word for word to bring out her flirtatious side and make her fall for you. So focus and watch this video till the very end because you're gonna love it. I'm Dan, I'm your personal dating coach in your pocket, delivering practical, no BS advice about attracting women and sparking their sexual desire for you so that you can start winning on the dating scene. Also, quickly hit that subscribe or follow button now so that you never miss a video. So before we get to the actual strategies and lines, I'll explain why it's important to get women to start flirting with you. You see, if a woman gets flirty and sexual with you willingly, then attraction will just take care of itself. Once she starts to flirt with you, the attraction center in her brain activates and creates positive emotions that she associates with you. This is a positive thing and is how a woman starts being really attractive. The challenge is that many women will not instantly let out their flirty or sexual side immediately, especially complete strangers or work colleagues. You see, many women feel judged that expressing sexual interest in men and getting flirty is wrong or inappropriate, too forward or too easy. These women can be hesitant to get into that sexually charged flirting mode. They might hold themselves back from saying anything too sexual. So what can you do about this? If you want a woman to flirt with you and develop attraction to you, you need to create the right conditions for her which will feel safe for her to start to let out her sexual wild side. Men who are experienced with women know how to create that space for women to be flirty and sexual. That's the number one difference that allows us to attract more women than the average guy wishes for. It's a huge difference between guys who are attractive to women and guys who receive no sexual attention from women and who mostly end up in the friend zone or get labeled the nice guy. So, how do you create the right conditions for her to start flirting? It's reasonably simple, actually. If you want her to flirt with you, you need to lead the way first. The man is the leader of sexuality, so you need to take charge, injecting some light sexual flirtiness, but be careful not to inject full-on sex talk directed at her. Now, there's a few ways to do this. First is through compliments that are sexual in nature and would only make sense if you are sexually attracted to that woman. A very common mistake most guys make here is saying something nice instead of sexual. This isn't going to open the conditions for her to flirt. For example, saying something like, "Oh, you're very intelligent." That's not a sexual compliment. That's something her grandmother could say. Sure, it's nice and it's a compliment, but it's not sexual in nature. Another huge mistake is to compliment her clothing. For example, saying, "I love your dress," or "I love your earrings." These things are in no way sexual. Now, the trick here is to just switch these up a little bit. If instead you say, "Wow, you look dead gorgeous in that dress," or "I never thought intelligence in women could seem so sexy," suddenly you've changed non-sexual statements into very specific sexually charged compliments, which opens the door for her to know if you're interested in her sexually and for her to start flirting back. If you say, "You're really cute when you laugh," or "Your eyes are really exciting as you're looking into them deeply," these are sexual compliments. Hope this is making sense. Any compliment that communicates you find her sexually attractive, that you see her as an attractive woman. Not her things, her. Now, you can be clever and creative with practice and add a little humor and wit, which is always awesome, but it's not absolutely necessary. So I recommend that you do this in a respectful and honest but assertive manner, meaning you say it with conviction. Just don't go overboard or too direct, like complimenting her tits and ass, because this then becomes sleazy. If you're respectful and honest, in most cases, sexual compliments will make women like you more and start flirting with you. Side note here, you don't want to make a big deal about these compliments. Just casually drop it into the conversation and keep things moving. Some guys give a sexual compliment and then just stop and stare at the girl, putting huge pressure on her, which makes it awkward or uncomfortable. Okay, another way to introduce flirting or sexuality into the conversation is through questions that lead the conversation to sexual or intimate subjects. You've got to be smooth, man, especially when you're learning. It takes a lot of experience and skill to be able to ask intense, risky questions like, "So what's your favorite sex position?" too early on. You've got to be able to read women really well to be able to do this, as well as have huge conviction and confidence to do that the right way. It will mostly come off as intensely awkward, weird, even sleazy, and she's going to be turned off. Instead, you want to start with some lighter questions, and as the flirty conversation develops, then you can slide towards some more intense stuff later. To get started, you can ask her about hidden places she has tattoos or piercings, or ask her, "Do you remember your first real kiss?" or "When have you ever made the first move on a guy?" And then based on how she responds, you can move on to riskier questions later, like what outfit do you think you look sexiest in? Or what's the naughtiest place you've ever done it in? Or what's the hottest thing a man can do in bed? These are riskier and more intense. When you start practicing this, it's learning to read her and calibrate to the situation and avoid triggering feelings of shame, embarrassment, or discomfort for the woman. Be prepared that you may face hesitation, surprise, or some reaction that isn't immediately positive. When asking a woman more intimate questions, she may challenge you and put you on the spot about why you're asking these things. If this happens, what you definitely don't want to do is apologize, retreat, mansplain, or say something like, "Oh, I didn't mean to XYZ." This will only make it weird and confirm to the woman that topics are shameful or wrong. What you do instead is to own it confidently. This allows her to follow your lead and relax into it. By owning it, you sub-communicate that it's okay, safe, and judgment-free. That way she can feel it's normal and fun with you and she can flirt. She may initially react with a look on her face and say something like, "Do you talk like that to every woman you meet?" Never apologize or retreat. Get playful and own it. Feel proud that you're being a man and talking to a woman sexually. Say you asked her, "Have you ever made a first move on a guy?" And she replies, "Do you always ask women that?" Or "Why do you want to know?" Don't get scared. Instead, you could calmly say, "Only the ones I think are cute," because it's great when a woman is comfortable expressing her sexuality. It shows confidence. Then you could encourage her to open up more. Say you ask, "Do you consider yourself a sexual person?" And she responds, "Did you just really ask that?" You can reply with, "Yeah, I did. No pressure though. I'm just excited to learn more about you." If she's still shy, what you can do is open yourself up first to lead her and show her it's safe and okay to talk about this stuff. Say you asked her, "What do you find most attractive about a man?" And she resists answering. You could say, "I'll go first. I personally find a humble intelligence and feminine softness very attractive traits in a woman." If you do a good job with her resistance, she will follow your lead and open up about her own sexuality. If you don't do a good job or you misread the situation and she's still resistant, don't stress. Just take it back a notch and release the pressure. Change to something humorous or benign so she can relax a little more with you and you can try something different in a few minutes. Now, the last flirting strategy I'll drop today, because it's a lot of fun and super easy to do, is sexual misinterpretation. I use this all the time with all sorts of women and it gets incredible results to get women playful and flirty, and it's actually really low risk while also being really effective at instigating flirting or at least discovering if she has any interest in you. The only thing that makes this hard for men to do is getting out of your logical brain. Misinterpretation is illogical. It doesn't make logical sense, but practice gets you better. You're simply taking anything she says and creatively twisting it into something sexual with a different meaning to what she intended it to say and make it flirty and sexual. For example, she says something challenging like, "You're not tall enough for me," which is her way of testing your self-confidence and if you'll crumble under a little pressure. How to handle this like an absolute pro is to respond with something like, "Wow, we've just met and you're already thinking about how we'll fit together physically. Slow down, princess. At least buy me a drink first. I'm not so easy." See how this works? Here's another example. Let's say you ask her, "How's your cocktail?" And she says, "Nah, it's a bit weak and flavorless." You can pretend she's talking about the dating scene and say, "Look, I know there's a lot of that going on with men today. It's a good thing you met me. You must be dreaming of what to do with all these muscles and personality." See, it's confident, playful, and taking something benign like a drink and turning it into something sexual about you and her. To be a pro at this, all you have to do is misinterpret innocent things she says as something that's flirty or sexual, which injects sexuality into a conversation, and most women are going to find it enjoyable and hard to resist engaging back. That's how they're going to start flirting back with you, and that's exactly what this video is for. Teaching you how to create the right conditions and playing field so that women won't feel judged or shamed and can get flirty and sexual. Now, if you like this and want to go deeper on this topic and become a pro at getting women flirting with you, then I recommend you click the link on my profile, which takes you directly to my calendar, and you can talk with me for free one-on-one, and we'll address why you might be struggling to meet women and get them flirting with you. And I can give you some practical flirting advice any man can use to quickly become good at it, so you can start to spark fun sexual chemistry with women you're attracted to, without coming across as creepy or desperate. This is where you start to turn a first hello into a date and sex. So far, I've helped countless men turn loneliness into juiciness, and the only reason that you're not doing this yourself is that you're uncertain exactly how. So if you're serious about dating quality women and getting them to desire you sexually, then click the link on my profile and book a time with me and start having hot sexual adventures with the women that you actually want. So check it out now. I'm happy you watched this whole video. It shows you the kind of man who wants to improve himself and his love life, and this is exactly the kind of man that sexy women love discovering, getting flirty with, and having a hot fun time with. Peace, and I'll see you in the next one.